Welcome, everybody, to another Thursday night, slightly unqualified podcast. It's good to have you guys here. How's everyone's week been?
You want me to go first?
Either one. I don't care.
Oh, man. I've been dealing with this massive migraine since probably about Tuesday afternoon. Dude, yeah, on a Tuesday. I've been dealing with it, dude, just right here. I don't know
one
if
of
it's
those
just
that blocks your vision too, or you get
blurry
spots?
It hurts. Yeah, it hurts right here.
Dude,
I don't know if it's the fact that Matt's been at my house so much, or if it's just not, the weather finally getting to me. But man, I'm hurting. But I will go forward, and we will get through this together.
Dude, I feel like there's been so much sickness just around everywhere. The last 3 weeks, my kids have just all been passing it around. Either just rashes, fever,
snotty nose, and then the rain,
cough, freaking Satan cough.
Dude, coming from the deepest part of my body, just ugh, you know what I mean? I'm never doing that again in camera, but whatever.
What about you, Matt? You been good? You're fine? Healthy? Strong? Beautiful? Loved?
You need a hug?
Was it just Attack Matt Day? What can I speak? Jesus. So
I'm in charge tonight.
So we are all doomed.
Never mind. I mean, it was good. Busy work week. That's my only highlight I have this week.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing sticks out. I haven't watched Tulsa King the last 3 days, so
must not
I've been busy working, busy with my son, and then I started playing FIFA again. So, but I haven't really played games that much either. Really,
yeah, dude, me neither. This week's been dry. Actually, I take that back. I played a little bit of Breath of the Wild last night to kind of get in the Tears of the Kingdom vibes. 50 days. I think we got 50 days left.
Oh, to the new one drops?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man.
There's a game I saw, indie developed game, that is animation style similar to Breath of the Wild and the new one coming out, and they're saying it's almost better than the Zelda game. So I might try it and play it. But there's another game I saw too where it was a snippet of a concept. I don't know if he actually made the game yet or not, but it's a developer on TikTok, and he it was cool. He was fighting these guys in the streets, streets of New York, modern day.
Mm-hmm.
But then he hit a button and it transformed the entire fight and the entire world and everything in his hands ancient Rome. And then he did it again, and he traversed him through to I don't know, pick a different time period, the Renaissance. It was wild, dude.
Dude, indie games are the best. Just the stuff that they're not afraid to throw and see if it sticks at the wall.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this just for a little bit, just because I like this where this is going. But I saw this concept of a game where, and I don't know if you know this about me, Steven, but I love survival games. I think they're fun.
It's funny.
Wait, survival, like Minecraft or a 7 Days to Die kind of games?
Similar to Minecraft, but a little bit more just surviving against the elements. PvE. If there's PvP in there too, I'm okay with that as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This one, and just so he's aware as well, some context of this whole situation, he refused to play Minecraft with me for about 4 years straight.
I think he had to buy it for me.
I finally got him on it, and
so before I tell you mine, Minecraft story, how long was your first Minecraft session?
I don't know. It was probably pretty solid, because I think that was when we did the Disneyland server, and it was during lockdown, so nobody was going anywhere. So
yeah, that's good.
Created a 1-to-1 ratio, a 1-to-1 scale ratio of Disneyland with everything working, the actual sounds. It was pretty dope.
What got him was, he said, "This is Minecraft." I said, "You could do this in Minecraft, if you actually played it."
I could not do it in Minecraft. I'm not that creative.
So my boys, the ones I usually play a game with, they don't let me play Minecraft with them, because Well, first off, let me backtrack. My first session, they were like, "Yo, play Minecraft with us." It's like, "No, this is stupid." Yada yada yada. I got in there, dude. We're building. 8.5 hours later,
Yeah.
my wife was like, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "Dude,
Playing with
I don't
blocks.
even know. I'm building this tiny little house, and all of a sudden, it was 8 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was crazy. Also,
Yeah.
too, I'm the worst when it comes to lava. I'll have everybody be like, "Con, you don't have any gear. Hold everything." You know what I mean? Because we're all full. I'm like, "Cool," and I'll hit that one piece that drops me into lava, and I lose
Lava.
everything. Yeah, so they don't. They're like, "Dude, you have the worst luck known
that's
to man." So they don't let me play.
Yeah.
So
I just do dumb things like make checkerboards with grass, lava, and then I end up falling in it and dying. And be like, well,
yeah.
saw that one coming. But anyways, what I was
Yeah.
saying is back to this indie game. It's basically this PvE, but the object of the game is you're on an island where a volcano is erupting. You're trying to do what you can to stop the eruption of the volcano. And that's just like a cool thing. Just like those scenarios. There's another desert one that's really cool. Trying to remember what that one's called, but
Like, isn't there like Rust and all those kind of games? That kind
yeah,
of jazz?
I never got really into Rust.
The rest is a little
I
different.
feel like Rust is a little toxic, just coming in.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Faces and stuff, but those kind of things. But let's switch gears because there's a lot that I want to talk about tonight regarding the Mandalorian. I have some hot takes that I'll be curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. So I'm going to throw one of them out there. You guys have seen both episode 3 and 4, right?
Correct.
Okay. So
We have
out of 3 and 4, I actually like episode 3 better than 4.
Oh yeah, hands down. Hands down.
Matt?
You would say again?
I like episode 3
better than episode 4?
more than episode 4.
Okay.
I don't get that. That's just a hot take.
Do I agree or disagree? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just what are your thoughts on that? Did you like episode 4? So let me preface this first before you answer. So I was checking IMDb, and there's a pretty big jump between what people think about episode 3 to episode 4.
Okay.
I think you're a whole point. I think you go from 7 to like an 8.1, 8.2. So it's a pretty big jump. So not a lot of people liked the episode 3. I will admit it got a little long during some of the mid episode, but there's a lot that I kind of wanted to unpack because I think I found something that not a lot of people talking about.
So I like episode 3. Okay, this is gonna be a cop-out answer, but this is my answer. Okay. Damn it. Episode 3, I like it as the better Star Wars content. Episode 4 is the better Mandalorian episode.
Okay,
that's how I'll say it.
All right. Well, let's just throw this out there. Obviously, spoilers for episodes 3 and 4 if you haven't seen it. But let's start in reverse chronological order. Let's start with episode 4. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this last episode? Obviously, some of the highlights that we got. We saw another flashback to Order 66. We get to see how Grogu is rescued from the Jedi Temple. The whole arc with the foundling getting stolen by the giant dinosaur eagle. What are you guys' thoughts?
It's called the Raptor, but we'll let it go.
Is it called a raptor for real?
Yeah, it's called the Raptor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought episode 4, Matt nailed it right on the head with the whole, it is a perfect Mandalorian episode, but number 3 did do more for Star Wars. I think episode 4 was exactly what everybody wanted to see. The Grogu thing, the Creed, everybody kind of coming together. I think they hit it right on the head with that episode. There was I don't think there was anything that was like I could take or I would cut out. I thought they did a great job. I wish they would have gotten into a little more detail with Grogu's escape, but that's just me wanting to know everything at one time. It wasn't.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're done with it. I think they're gonna
sure
expand on it a little bit more.
Definitely think so.
What are your thoughts? Oh, quiet one. See it
formulated. Of episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better Mandalorian episode. I mean, what I mean by that is that this establishes the upbringing of a youngling and a foundling.
Mm-hmm.
It establishes that there is a rank system. He clearly states, to get to apprentice. To be my apprentice, he must first graduate foundlings.
Right.
I think he cheated. I mean, it's not really fair to have like Luke Skywalker
Force
train your
powers.
foundling and then you bring them to the other foundlings, like, yo, lessons for you.
Mm-hmm.
How about he's trained in the Jedi arts, and it's a clear unfair advantage here. But I also think it establishes a lot for Bo-Katan. A lot for Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
I think
lasts like 10 minutes.
yeah, that's going to be the missed thing here is that like people are going to focus on, oh, Grogu's going to become
Mm-hmm.
this young apprentice to, but there's a big implication behind why Bo-Katan was able to see this Mythazar, her wanting to wear the Mythazar, her wanting to even join the
Mm-hmm.
way in the first place, her starting to believe in something that the Mandalorian way can be reestablished in that direction. And the big thing for me too was her clan and her was reintroduced or re-established
Mm-hmm.
as part of the Mandalore culture officially. So I think it's gonna have a lot to do with her. I think they're gonna. I think we might see her. I think the Cara Dune of this season is her. I think we're gonna see her almost every episode, and she's gonna be a prominent figure about the whole thing. She might. I think she could end up getting her spinoff show at the end of this.
Yeah, I hope she does. She's a great character. There's a lot that's behind her. The fact that it's the voice actress too.
Yeah, the only thing that really threw me off was that the guy whose son got captured,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who was like bald, I don't want to say bald,
Paz
but
Vizsla.
yeah, Paz Vizsla, the guy that was like super into the creed and everything like that. He was the first one to break it. Like when it came to his son, like the Mandalorian way is very disciplined and very structured in a way. And when you have a clear leader that has a plan, you should be listening to them, and he didn't. So I don't know. There wasn't a ton in this episode to like.
It was a shorter episode for sure.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton to like brag about. I guess I don't know how to say it. It was a good episode though, and it established our first look at a Mandalorian culture as a whole instead of just in pieces of individuality.
Shambles.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this Bo-Katan dynamic. Do you guys feel like this is genuine, that she's joining the covert genuinely, or do you think that's like she's using it as a means to the end? Because ultimately, as we all know, her goal, she wants to be the ruler of Mandalore. So do you think this is like means to the end, or is she finding like her place within this Mandalorian culture that she very strongly disregarded?
So before episode 4, I would say I think she's using the creed to get her way. You know what I mean? Because she didn't say anything about seeing the creature. You could definitely tell her thought process wasn't to join. She just didn't take her helmet off. You know what I mean? I don't think she wanted to join. I think she was going, you know what? I'm going to get on their good side. Or maybe she didn't know. After watching episode 4, I really think that she's kind of liking the structure, the way they're doing things. Because if you remember, she's more of a warrior. She's more of the badass. But she also grew up with her sister running it, where her sister was a pacifist. She was easygoing. It wasn't by the book, you know what I mean? Like her father was a warrior by the book kind of guy. And I think she's seeing her father's like the upbringing for her. That's why because she's such a badass in that sense. I think she's really enjoying or seeing it from now, from the inside instead of from the outside. And it looks like she wants this to work. That's what I'm taking it as after watching episode 4. The only thing I can't get my head around is why she brings up the creature, and she looks like she's trying to like I don't know how I'm reading it just yet. I've watched it
Mhm.
twice, and the first time I thought I didn't really take anything of it or thinking of anything of it, but the second time it looked like she wanted to be like, well this, well that, you know what I mean, and to get some like praise. Oh, and they just said this is the way, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But the armorer also knows that they're going to be restored when somebody rides the creature
Mhm.
again. So I think the armorer is just like, yeah, like we know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting that you think that, and I'm assuming, Matt, you probably have a similar take on it, because I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like everything she's doing is calculated because that's how she's always been. There's always a reason. The reason she doesn't tell Din about the Mythosaur is because she's afraid, because he's the only one that really has challenged her and still can challenge her. And I think she took it to the armorer because she wanted to see if this was still something that was believed. And so the fact that the armor was like, oh, you're lucky you got to see that vision, she kind of took that as information like, no, I actually saw it, but that means they still believe. This is my leapfrog over Din. So I don't know if it'll happen. I'm still very much on the side that I would like to see her as kind of in an antagonistic role. Not to like say she's going to be the ultimate big bad of the season, but just like have that tension. Because I think that was one of the best things about season's 2 finale was when Din walked in with the Darksaber and she knew it. And then Moff Gideon's over there like, nope, you can't have it.
Yeah.
So I like that tension between the two of them.
I think it'll do less for her character finding a loophole than just beating Din.
Yeah, but at the same time, I also think that she doesn't necessarily have to beat Din if she's got the trump card.
That's my point. It's going to do less for her character to find a loophole,
yeah,
than to just beat
she's
Din
a warrior.
Djarin.
Yeah, she's a warrior. She
and it's going to damage what you already know about Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
So if she's in that mindset, why did she take it from him at any given point?
What do you mean?
Why hasn't she tried to take it, or why hasn't she taken it if she's a warrior who is, in my opinion, probably stronger, has more battle IQ, could probably beat him if she wanted to, but hasn't?
Because I don't think she thinks she can beat him.
You don't think she can?
I don't think she thinks she can beat him.
I think it's more psychological. I think she thinks she's the reason it all fell. The fact that she's won the fight 2 times already and still has nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's freed Mandalore twice. Nothing has happened. She's not the ruler. Nobody follows her. I think she has like some mental things going on where she just feels like she can't. That's why she was in a castle by herself, just sitting there.
Well, and the question that begs the question of why even go for it in the first place? Mm-hmm. Why even go for Moff Gideon in the first place if the mental thing is I don't want the Darksaber, regardless.
No, not that I want the Darksaber. The fact that she's failed twice in running Mandalore, and I think she thinks that nobody wants to follow her, or she can't handle the pressure of running Mandalore. You know what I mean? That's why this episode.
After when though? Because if that's the stance you're taking, which I mean it could be, I don't know. I'm just challenging that because there's a clear motivation for her to retake that same throne in season 2 when we first see her. Mm-hmm. If that motivation wasn't there,
or if that fear was there,
how is that the breaking point? How is her losing the saber unfairly the breaking point for her to say, "I've already failed twice. I can't try again"?
So let's pause on
that. She's currently trying
again. Real quick, let's pause on that because I think this is somewhere that the show needs to go because there's still a couple of gaps. So we know that through Rebels, she's given the Darksaber by Sabine. No, sorry. Sabine is given the Darksaber.
Yes.
And we know that the last owner of the Darksaber was Maul. But nobody really defeated Maul with the Darksaber. There was just kind of like that hand to.
Yeah.
No, Maul gives it to her, right? No, she steals it. Yeah,
it's sitting there.
She steals it. So then we assume that Sabine, we haven't really ever seen this, gives it to Bo, which there is the prophecy, or I don't really know what to call it, but it's like
It's a rule or whatever.
Yeah, whoever wields the dark saber without earning it curses the Mandalorians. And I think that's where Bo-Katan realized that she made her mistake, probably, to Steven's point, feels some guilt for the decimation of her homeworld because she realized I didn't earn it.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to that, shouldn't there be, like, we need to see how Moff Gideon gets it. I feel like there's a gap between that.
I mean, I think Ahsoka could. I think wherever the show Ahsoka leads with Sabine in it will lead to that. Will lead to that at some point. Or if we get a Bo-Katan spinoff, which I think legitimately it could be in the works with the way they're using their character so far. That'll be answered then, but it won't be answered here or now. Nor will it matter because it doesn't matter to the motivation of the characters in the current. It doesn't matter to the motivation of Bo-Katan or Din, so it wouldn't affect the story. It's more like a filler question. Why, like, for example, how do they get Anakin's lightsaber in The Force Awakens? It doesn't do anything to drive the story forward, but it is a question that we have a question about. So they're not going to touch on that if it doesn't drive a character's motivation forward.
Yeah, but at the same time, couldn't that also be a reason that Din has had such a hard time using the Darksaber?
No, because Bo-Katan uses it pretty easily when she picks it up in the first episode.
Yeah, but I think that's because she's used to it. Like, he's a brand new wielder to it that doesn't know how it's wielded.
Take it at face value. The Oracle, whatever her name is, the armor specifically tells Din, because you have an inner battle with yourself and you're fighting to even wield this saber, you cannot wield it. That is just what it is.
Right,
that's it. In my opinion, I take that at face value because there's not much to look into there. And Bo-Katan has comfortability with wielding the Darksaber. Din doesn't want it. That's the thing. Din has tried to give it away willingly multiple times, and even told Bo-Katan 3 times at once, take it 3 times. And so there's a difference there of him clearly not wanting this mantle and the saber having an inner battle with him versus Bo-Katan clearly wanting this thing. So yes, you can use it, but should you be the ruler of Mandalore, this curse falls upon you. It's a little different. Bo-Katan wants to use it, therefore she can. Din clearly doesn't want to use it ever, therefore he
that's kind of how I'm taking it. Yeah, he doesn't want it, and that's how I'm taking it too. That's
interesting, because he saves them all the time. I'm just kidding.
Not with that.
That's true.
And think about it. And think about it this way. Think about it this way. The one time he used it, he got captured and lost that whole battle.
And then he stabbed himself in the leg with it. Remember in the first episode of last season when the butcher scene where he goes into there, that
was a great episode.
Every time Din has that thing within the same episode or within the same 5 minutes, something's bad happened to him specifically where he needs rescue.
Yeah.
All right. So backing up a little bit, let's talk about the Order 66 scene, because honestly, this one just lost me.
It's getting out of control.
I didn't care. Cool, give Jar Jar Binks Ahmed Best his redemption, but what really threw me and kind of put a bad taste in my mouth for the almost the rest of the episode. Once they got back to the Mandalorian stuff, it got a lot better. But I just feel like the way that they use lightsabers is just so boring. If you guys go back and you watch that scene, there's nothing flashy. It's literally the choreography looked like they were doing the same exact move to deflect bullets over and over again. And it just seeing the clones in live action was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
But just the lightsabers and just how they use them, it's I don't understand how Disney keeps getting this wrong.
See, but that's kind of what I know it sounds weird, but it's what I kind of like, because it shows it shows a lot of those dudes who at the time Order 66 happened, the Jedi were more political than they were warriors. They were not dudes standing up for injustice. Like, you know what I mean? They were dudes who had a mission. It was political. They were the right hand of Coruscant, and they handled things in a diplomatic way. That's why you also notice, like, I know in the Star Wars lore, the older Jedi have they're skilled with the saber, where if you start to look up all the way to the newer episodes or the newer movies, the fight scenes suck. You know what I mean? They're like, this is boring, because those dudes didn't have to use a saber every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even like what I'm talking about too is if you were to look at like the Battle of Geonosis and just how there's tons of Jedis there, just like the way they hold it, the way they deflect, there's just more like flash and flare. And then I just feel like I don't know if it's necessarily a lore thing, but it seems like just the choreography doesn't have like the love for the actual fight.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. It didn't kind of get me on like a bad taste after seeing that. Like, I really had no issue with it, you know, because I was just more stoked to see the story. But I do understand. I think they need to.
I don't understand.
It's like every Jedi. It's like every Jedi hits like 3-4 bullets and then they die. You know what I mean? And then it's like, come on, man, you're a Jedi, dude. Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, I
get what you're trying to say, but let's two things here. One, Jedi battles outside of fighting Sith have traditionally sucked. Okay, when they fight droids, it sucks. When they fight clones, it sucks. All right, be outside of the main fights in the movies, every other fight, hell, even the fight scene with Darth Vader. And I know this is old and this wasn't the thing back then, but with Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader, that's a trash can fight, dude. Yeah. Trash can. And so every fight we see that isn't against the main antagonist of the movie, trash. Okay, so let's.
I disagree. I think there's actually a couple of scenes where, and this is where I think you're going to be mad at me because I know that you don't have
even down to the Battle of Geonosis, by the way.
No.
Trash.
We're talking about episode 1. There's the scene where they're escorting Padme back to the royal palace, and there's that big like legion of droids.
Okay.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I think that's like really good.
It's droids.
Like it's droids, but it shows how powerful they are. They're deflecting. It's not a big deal. And they're just some of the coolest lightsaber work that's going on in like this 5 seconds.
In that same breath, in that same exact movie, the very first thing they do when they fight those 2 droids is they just deflect
dodge
like this the whole time and dip. So there's no like
they realize they're
advanced.
They can't get past the shields. Like,
okay, so when there's 30 clones attacking you at one time and you're not trained for clones to be attacking you at one time, outside of Ahsoka's very specific training that Anakin gives her, which we see in Tales of the Jedi, which is why she was able to escape and nobody else was. That they were overwhelmed. That's all. 1, caught off guard. 2, overwhelmed. 3, a clear disturbance in where the light side's being taken over by a dark side. Yeah. So there's also a shift in balance of power within the power that they use. So it all makes that whole thing makes sense to me. And their very best Jedi were not at the temple at the time when this happened. They were out and about doing other things because it was the peak of the war. Pretty much, they all knew there was a new Sith rising up because they all felt it. So they're very best guys. I mean, when Plo Koon dies, Aayla Secura dies, all of them are not at the temple. Even when Mace Windu dies, he isn't at the temple. Like, and then when they attack Yoda, where is he at? Kashyyyk. When they attack Obi-Wan the first time, he is not.
Yeah, that's a good point. That you probably have like the JV or even the freshman team at the temple.
Runts. When your best lightsaber person there is Jocasta Nu, you have runts there pretty much. When the best person is your librarian, it's a problem.
But on that same breath,
muted.
You feel like the choreography is still not where it should be, or doesn't really bother you?
It doesn't bother me because if they're not fighting a Sith Lord, it's not going to be impressive regardless. If there's not another lightsaber in someone else's hand they're fighting, it's already going to be worse than Revenge of the Sith.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And that is now the standard, by the way. And we can even look at the throne room. That is a standard of people fighting without lightsabers because that is a damn good scene of 2 lightsaber wielding individuals fighting non lightsaber wielding individuals and just looking good while they do it.
Mhm.
So those are the standards for me. The standard is if it's a Jedi versus a Sith or some kind of saber on saber battle, I'm looking at Revenge of the Sith #1. And then if it's anything else outside of that, I'm looking at Throne Room because that is the epitome of non-lightsaber duels. So
Mhm.
to me, if nothing's ever reached that height in the first place, ever, then I'm not gonna expect it to anyway. And I don't put Star Wars stuff on this pedestal where like everything is so crazy. Like even outside of like Duel of the Fates, even the music is kind of like garbage. You know what I mean? So like
That Cantina band though, that slaps.
Yeah, it does.
get a little shimmy in whenever it comes on, you know.
So let's talk a little bit about going. We're gonna go a little bit forward because I forgot to bring this up. But when the raptor gets eaten by the big croc,
Oh yeah.
what were you guys' first initial thoughts?
Jurassic Park.
Seriously, that's like what I thought.
Really?
I was like, this
That's
is like
what I
a
thought.
clip for clip Jurassic Park scene.
Yeah, I literally said, "This is Jurassic Park." You know, in the
That's
beginning,
funny.
the first one, yeah.
So like
That's
in
funny.
Jurassic
Jurassic
World,
Park.
there's a pterodactyl that gets eaten the
Yeah.
exact same way by a mosasaurus. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad I was not the only one that thought that. It was.
Wait, hold on. Was it a Mythosaurus?
No, it's
No, it's
that
not Mosasaurus.
big croc
Yeah.
thing.
Oh.
That alligator-looking dude from like the
Yeah.
first episode of the season, but it's just another one because they blow that one up.
When that didn't kill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? I think we should backtrack a little bit and talk about episode 3.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there.
Oh, okay. My bad.
We're gonna get
I'm sorry.
there.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm trying to
Want
think
some
of the
yellow
first half.
biscuits?
First half was cool with kind of establishing the lore of how the Mandalorian society works. I agree with you, Matt. I think that was really important, and it shows that there's more than just you get your armor and you're done. Like you got to earn it, and you got to be able to speak. That was cool. Like I'm sure a lot of people have been asking, when's Grogu getting a helmet? Why hasn't he gotten a helmet? Makes sense.
Mhm.
So let's jump into episode 3. So
I loved episode 3, dude.
episode 3 was really good. Like
Fire.
sleeping, like people are sleeping on episode 3 in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
big time.
one of the first things that I want to talk about, which I literally went back and forth and made my wife watch with me probably like 15 times, was the end of the scene with the doctor and the girl who betrays him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm almost positive that she is pregnant. Right? So if you go back and you watch,
Oh, I know what theory you're going with this.
if you
Okay,
go back and you
you go.
watch, they jump off the tram.
The Gideons
She
are dead. Bro.
touches her stomach. Actually, no, even before that, on the tram, she with her right hand is consistently touching her stomach. Like she can't not touch her stomach.
I've heard
So
this.
then she falls off. They jump off. She gets up. She immediately touches her stomach. There's a couple other times she touches her stomach, and at the end, after she asks to be left alone, she unbuttons and she's touching her stomach for like way too long. And the camera is focused on like her hand on her stomach, but it's also showing her turn the dial up. But if you look at the shot, the main part of it is not her hand turning on it. That's like a little bit off to the side, but like the middle of the screen is her right hand on her stomach. And so if you back up, there's that part where he's given his TED talk. He's talking about combining the one DNA with the other DNA, making the perfect person. What if that perfect person is in her?
Next time you go down this rabbit hole, you need to tell us to put on our tinfoil hats. Because
I'm telling you, man, I made my wife watch it back with me. Like,
so I've
15
heard this.
times.
I've heard this theory already. Someone was saying that she's Ray's mom, or
I don't think
She's Ray's mom.
I don't think she's Ray's
that's
mom.
this. Well, I'm telling you the theory. I didn't come
Yeah.
up with this. And there are people are going hard in the paint for this, like really hard. That she
Where? First off, where?
on
Where's this
people,
happening?
YouTube, Instagram. There's a lot of people talking about this theory. This theory saying that she's Ray's mom, and that she's
Or pregnant
mixed,
in general.
or pregnant in general.
I'm telling you,
It
if you
got
go back
this
and
guy.
you watch it, if you go
I'm
back and
gonna
you
watch
watch it, you're gonna be like, dang, she does touch her stomach a lot.
Maybe she just has like a fetish or something. That dude touches his ear because he went through
I
some
know, but
trauma.
think about it. That is showing when he's lying. Like it's a very.
You're telling me a
specific
pregnant
thing.
chick's gonna jump off a train going like 1,000 miles an hour and be like,
She
"Whew."
wasn't going to. That was definitely. They were slowing down. It was slowing down big time.
Matt, would you have jumped off that train at that speed?
If I'm pregnant,
Yeah.
never been pregnant before,
No.
so I don't know.
You ain't jumping off that shit if you weren't pregnant. That thing was
I
going
mean, she's clearly
super
not like
fast.
showing or anything, but you can tell like.
So where are
I'm
we going
telling
with this? What are you trying to say? What's
Okay,
the point?
so here's where I'm going with it. I think
Yeah, get to it because
Yeah,
you
okay.
lost me here.
I think they are trying to correlate Grogu's DNA with Rey. I don't think she's her mother per se. I think she could be the surrogate mother of the offspring of Palpatine, because we know that he has a son who is Rey's dad.
Mm.
And so the ultimate goal was, and I think they probably will expand on this a little bit more, was the cloning was trying to get Palpatine back, trying to make sure that he was back, but also force sensitive. And then you have this donor that they think is going to work because of his experiments, but ends up being a dud, who is his dad, who then gets written off, has a child, and then is Rey. And here's another reason why. Because if you think about specific abilities, she has the ability to heal, which we know Grogu had that ability to heal. She also has the ability to do the Sith Lightning, which is like Palpatine's signature move. So you have both of those things tied up pretty nicely.
It's like Matt's ready just to throw you out of a window.
I think Matt is like, I don't want that to be the case, but there's a lot that's like too weird.
Are we done reaching?
All right, we're done reaching. We're done.
Okay. So let's get down to like what we actually think the story was about. Okay.
Let's dissect.
If she's touching her stomach a lot, I didn't notice it. Not enough to me think she's pregnant. And two, why this way?
Why this way?
Why this way? Why do we
think-
need this specific story to happen this way? Like, why did we need to see this part?
Okay. So
Like this 45 minutes that we saw that had nothing to do, for all intents and purposes, of the Mandalorian. What
there's
is
going to
the
be
point
some
of doing
weird
that
things
part?
I'm going to point out to you that I haven't gotten to yet, because I knew you guys were going to look at me with conspiracy theory eyes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
real quick, before we get into conspiracy stuff, my quick review on this thing was it's perfect for one reason only, which is what pisses me off what you're about to say right now, because it's the reason what makes it so freaking amazing is that it had nothing to do with anything.
I'm telling
It told
you.
us an independent story in the Star Wars world that is
Telling you.
in a vast. Hold on, let me speak. That was in a vast universe. Okay, I've been begging for this for years. It's a great, wide, big universe. Tell me stories that have nothing to do with the damn Skywalkers or their story whatsoever. And here we are. You about to point out to me that this is going to be a big old Skywalker thing. Oh, look at Rey Skywalker. Look at Palpatine. Okay, I don't want to hear about it. Okay, and nor do I care about it. Nor does anybody care about this being connected whatsoever. You could completely not connect the Mandalorian to the sequels or whatever they're called, and be fine with it. And if Favreau does this, which by the way, this would be a Favreau move, not a Kathleen Kennedy move, because we know Favreau and Filoni have control over all this because they made it very clear if they didn't, they would leave. Then I'm gonna be disgusted with both Filoni and Favreau, and I'll boycott Star Wars the rest of my life.
I think it's
love the
happening.
passion.
That's how passionate I'm about
Okay,
this.
so let's put on the tinfoil hats now.
Oh,
You
damn,
ready?
put on the
Everyone put them
tinfoil
on.
hat.
Okay, so I think there is a very big reason why we heard the Favreau, I'm gonna leave, and I think a lot of it hinges on the beginning of this season. I think Kathleen Kennedy was like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We gotta rectify, we gotta keep the sequels relevant. It has to be done with this.
Yeah.
And I
feel the same
think
way.
that she got far enough into this episode that he was finally like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. This is not the story I want to tell. I don't want to connect this to the sequels. And I think that's what pushed him over the edge. Not to say it was just the first episode. I think she's gotten a little bit deeper than we all realize.
Yeah, I feel the
And
exact same way.
so here's another very weird thing. So while they're doing their stupid little carnival walk, the music that is playing is all the sequel trilogy
music. Yeah,
like it is trying to tie it. Like it's almost like someone is shoving it down your throat. Like
Okay,
I was like, I don't like this
okay.
music.
Hold on. Let's. With that being said, take a step back. That good of a story we just saw. That's a good episode. Okay, not just a good episode.
Great.
That's a good piece of cinema. That is not something Kathleen Kennedy would do, nor is it something that Favreau and Filoni put their best into because they don't want the idea to shine. That is so well articulated and manipulated that neither one of them would do that for each other.
I would be shocked if we didn't find out that Kathleen Kennedy was like, this is how it's going to be. You need to make it the best you can. And they put their all into it. And what came out of it was good.
No.
But it feels there's so much, man.
So Andrew, do you feel like they're telling that story because that was the story on how they're able to make clones of Snoke? That's where you're going, right?
I think that's probably where they're going to get to.
I agree with that. I think that I
don't want to go there. To Matt's
point. Me either. I think in this was they were just showing, first off, the scene where this is one of my favorite scenes. It's small, tiny, but I love this scene. Was the scene where he gets done with his TED talk. He's walking up and he starts talking to those rich people and the other politicians. Mm-hmm. When he had that scene, when they were talking about like, oh, Empire Rebels, it's all the same.
Not sure.
War's war, we profit off both regardless. I thought that scene was brilliant, dude, because it lays just that like minute and a half, 2 minutes of just that conversation laid so much down for that book Bloodline. I thought it just for me it connected. It connected so much of the lore of like the politician part of how everything was going on. I wanted them to expand on that so bad. Like I would love to see just a Star Wars show just with nothing but the political portions and why they're doing things. Because after reading Bloodline, I love that they're kind of pushing it just a little bit because it also ties some things together with the doctor getting brainwashed because they do bring it down in the episode and that other people there have been brainwashed or brains or minds wiped. That has to do with in Bloodline, and I thought it was brilliant. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, that's so dope that they kind of foreshadow that it's all political. You know what I mean? On how everything runs and how the First Order even gets started because those guys are the ones who finance the First Order. You know what I mean? And I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. So I like that scene too. However, it seemed very familiar to another scene that we have seen.
Which is that?
It brought me back to episode 8, the casino scene, where they specifically talk about these people sell to both the First Order, they sell to the rebellion. No, not rebellion. Whatever they call themselves in the second one.
Yeah. The new something or whatever.
Whatever they call themselves. It felt very, very similar to that, to where you have these people that are in a very lucrative business, don't care about the side, which again, for putting on the tinfoil hat, it's pointing towards the direction of the sequels. But okay, so we're backing up because I know Matt's probably just like steaming and furious.
Not steaming.
Yeah.
I don't want this either.
But you're making the point of one episode for something that's been consistent across the entire Mandalorian series. Cloning it's not new to this episode. It's new to Mandalorian since season 1. So you're saying Kathleen Kennedy since season 1 has said make this work in context of Snoke and Palpatine?
I don't think she has said it specifically in this season. I think she said, hey, this series needs to help tie over the events to get people caught up to the sequels. Therefore, everyone likes the show. It's going to make the sequels more likable. This is a way that we can, without having to undo everything we did, we can give more background of why. Oh, everyone was really mad at the reveal of
from episode 1. You're saying this, like Kathleen Kennedy in the writers' room with Favreau and Filoni said, "This is going to be what this is going to be."
I would imagine she probably said something to that effect.
And we're barely hearing about Favreau now getting mad
because I think she's tried to put her foot more and more and more in.
Wait, are you talking about
that's
episode
already
1?
in? You know how deep that is in the scene. Okay, but that is it. It's not even being in at that point. Kathleen Kennedy literally controls the motivating factor for this entire series. At that point, that is already that alone is already enough creative power for her to have. That Favreau should say, "No, I don't want nothing to do with it because I don't have any creative power over where this can go."
No, I think the difference is, and to your point, which is what I'm hoping, and I think that Favreau and Filoni both see an opportunity, is you have this character that can live to almost 1,000 years. Let's get this character established. Let's do our due diligence to make Kathleen Kennedy happy, and then let's jump 500 years and be done with the Skywalker saga, to where we have a whole new character to build our franchise on.
You're nuts, and you're dead crazy right now.
I agree half with what you're saying. I do agree that they're trying to connect the dots with Snoke. I mean, like, this is the guy who almost perfected cloning and making the perfect person. He did really good with cloning. He got real close, and now that's why there's so many Snokes, because they couldn't master it. Like, they didn't master the cloning. That's why he kept dying, and they kept just making more clones of him. I think they used this separate small story to kind of tie that together. A lot like when you want to know what happened to Darth Maul after getting cut in half. Star Wars goes, "Oh, you want to see that? Go watch Clone Wars. Oh, you want to see how he died? Go watch Rebels." So now, if somebody wants to know, well, who made all the Snokes? Like, where did they get this knowledge from? Oh, go watch Mandalorian. And they're like, "Oh, what episode do I have to watch?" Oh, it's on season 3. So now you have someone going back and watching old stuff. That.
You can start from season 1, season 2, the first episode.
So I don't think they're going to keep going with tying to the newer movies. It is kind of ironic that they did play all of like the battle scene music in the background. That was kind of weird. I noticed it because I heard the Mandalorian theme song in the back, but it's like at a weird tempo. I didn't hear all the other ones until the second time I watched it, and it was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. But I don't think they're going to be heavily going, hey, let's tie all the next 5 or 6 episodes to the newer Star Wars movies. I just think this was like a huge Easter egg kind of drop. You know what I mean? Going, these dudes were working on it. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, I think that's where they're going, and I think this is what is driving Favreau insane. Is he's like, this isn't the story I want to tell.
I don't think it's the story he wants.
I want to tell a new story. Stop trying to get it back to the Skywalker saga. I want this to be completely separate.
According to the Force Awakens novelization, Snoke was described as humanoid but not human. He was alive to watch the Empire come to power before falling to the Jedi. Your entire thing just collapsed on its head right there.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna. It's gonna.
When was that?
I'd be willing to put money on it.
It's in the Force Awakens novel.
It doesn't matter. How many people have read the novel?
It's canon. That's what matters. There's one thing Disney cares about. It's when they write a canon, it's canon, no matter how much we hate it. Matter of fact, it's so much so, they double down on it so much that when everyone said, just get rid of the last 3 movies because we don't want it to be canon, they didn't do it because they believe that their stuff is the right stuff. So therefore, they can't contradict their own canon.
I'm telling
you. Wait. So what is the novel's explanation of all the copies of Snoke?
They say he is a clone. They don't say when he got cloned. The Clone Wars happened well before the rise of the Empire. Mm-hmm. The cloning happened well before the rise of the Empire. It's just he's a clone. They're not saying when he got cloned, how he got cloned. There's an established timeline, however, saying that he was alive and lived to tell about the rise of power of the Empire and the fall to the Jedi, which means that he cannot be inside of a womb after what's it called? After the Return of the Jedi.
So I don't think.
No, I think he's a real person that they just cloned.
I don't think that he is in the womb. I think I'm pretty sure. I'm not very well versed on episode 9, but I'm pretty sure that the reason they wrote that and they retconned it in episode 9 is because Palpatine says, "I am Snoke," therefore suggesting he was there before the rise, he was there after, he was there for the fall of the Republic, the rise of the Empire, afterwards, because I have always been Snoke. It's me. It's my clone. He is me.
And that's established.
Yeah.
So if it's Palpatine, it doesn't matter the time frame. But again, what I'm thinking is it doesn't necessarily have to be Palpatine. I think this is where Rey's coming from.
Wait, where do you think Rey's coming from?
You think this is going to be Rey's lineage? That somehow in 25 years there's going to be 2 generations of people to come that lead to Rey?
No, I think that the clone in her pregnant belly is going to be a person that ages quickly.
Oh my!
And then
now you're going down that rabbit hole. That's like,
see this?
Yeah.
See this?
How is that a rabbit hole? They did that for
reaching.
the Jango Fett clones. They all had advanced growth acceleration.
Yeah, except for the one he asked to be regular.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give Andrew the grace here to say, what's fast and advanced in your mind, Andrew? How many years is this person a grown adult to have sex and have a kid? Give me a number.
10 years.
Okay,
that means Rey would be 15. 15 in The Force Awakens.
How old is she? 24, isn't she? 25?
She's a grown adult.
No, she's a grown adult.
Rey is in the womb now, probably. In The Force Awakens.
I don't know if that math checks out.
Yeah.
Rey, The Force Awakens age.
She's like 24.
19 years old, okay? The Mandalorian, season 1 of The Mandalorian, by the way, season 1, not season 3, season 1 is set 25 years before The Force Awakens. Therefore, Rey at 19 years old negates 19 of your 25 years of the first season.
Yeah. And then
you could give this person 5 years and it still wouldn't be a viable option.
Sure. Why is it even Andrew? Why is it even a thing for Rey to be part of it? We already know how Rey becomes. Like it, you know what I mean? Like
we know that Rey becomes because she has a dad that was a offspring of Palpatine.
Yeah,
that wasn't Force sensitive.
Yeah.
So
why would there be a rabbit hole of she's pregnant but say it has nothing to do with Rey. If you tell me, hey, her being pregnant has nothing to do with Rey, I'm interested. Let me hear it. But if it has something to tie in with Rey, I think
why even be pregnant? What's the point?
Wait. Like if she's not, it has nothing to do with Rey. Then the only 2 baddies in the movie or in the show are going to be
Moff Gideon
or Palpatine. You know what I mean? That we know Palpatine's alive. The other dudes don't know except for her. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure she knows that Palpatine's around. You know what I mean? I don't. So who else is? There's no like. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't think it has anything to do with
retconning poor content that wasn't planned for, that they're trying to get to stick around because, like to Matt's point, they aren't going to change it. They aren't going to get rid of it, but they want to make it as coherent as possible that, we had a grand master plan the whole time and it was going to bank on the Mandalorian fixing the problem.
Okay, but let's also even go down the rabbit hole of Palpatine. Nobody knew until at least 4 years after the Battle of Yavin that Palpatine was alive, and he didn't reveal himself to other besides his close pupils until 10 years after. That's 10 of your 25 years still taken, regardless. There is no connection right now of a pregnant person or anything to do with a baby outside of that baby in the womb being Rey. That's the only argument you have.
I don't think it's Rey. I don't even think she's pregnant. But if she is,
go back and watch it, man. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I believe that it's weird, but like I don't.
You're reaching. Everything you're saying is going to poke holes in the plot that Kathleen Kennedy herself has already established.
Because she's not the master at poking holes in plots.
Out of your mind.
I'm telling you, this is
sucks.
what has been driving Favreau insane, is that she's trying to get
Out
it
of
to
your
connect.
So
Out of your mind.
I do agree with you on that. I do think that
I think that's true. Just not the way you're saying it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
telling
think
you, it's stupid enough to be what she's trying to do.
No, it isn't.
yeah, that was weird. Yeah, but I do like how they brought down that they were decommissioning like soldiers, and they were I thought that was so cool how they gave us that like knowledge of, we just didn't like put all these dudes in jail. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're better than that.
I'm just happy
doing
to
it.
see another refreshing story that had nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
If it comes down to brass tacks, what we're trying to say here is that when Skywalkers aren't involved directly in contact, great things happen.
It's good.
Okay, so just
we're on the
make
same,
these things happen.
We're
And
on the same side.
if in this 25-year window you give me in our like 25 years in Star Wars time, if in our time you give me 30 years straight of movies in between that time that are like this for an hour and a half to 2 hours, guess what? The entire fan base is on board with it.
Dude, that's why I love Rogue One. Rogue One really had nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
It had absolutely nothing to do with it.
And it was one of the best movies.
You saw Vader one time when he lost control like a child.
Yeah.
So again, just to recap, I think she's pregnant. I think it's going to lead us into something that Filoni is like, I can't do it anymore. You want to keep going down this way? I'm out if you want to do that.
I
think, you want me to tell my stories? It's got to change.
This coming from the guy who's like, Filoni would never leave no matter what happens.
Right, Favreau. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly.
Favreau.
I think, you know what's more likely, Andrew? That maybe you just didn't think about this. Maybe that she's like not an A-tier actor. She's like a B, C-tier actress. And she just is really pregnant in real life and therefore like doesn't know how to act beyond that. You ever think about that possibly? That's more likely than what you're trying to tell me right now.
The cinematic, the camera shots of where it's placed, how often it happens. Somebody who's directing has to be like, just start at the last scene where she's turning the dial up, and you'll see the whole time she is.
Maybe she had too many of those biscuits. She ate too many of them. She's had like that.
I'm telling you, man. When you go back and you keep an eye out for it, you're gonna be like, why is she touching her stomach the whole time? There's at least 5 or 6
probably
times.
Mouth breather.
So what is the point of her? What is the point of this story then? Because the contentious point of this story is that she turned her back on this dude and turned up the dial.
She's getting rid of the person who basically put this child in her that actually completed his work.
I didn't take that at all.
And she didn't kill him, by the way, for the record.
Okay, she just erased his ability to do it again.
Yeah.
No, the memory, yeah.
I think she found out the last person, the only person who could snitch pretty much on the cloning thing. And I think she was like, all right, I found out that he does know what he's talking about. What, you know what I mean? And she just wiped him out. And now she has one less person to know the secret. You know what I mean? Somebody said we should bet on Pregnancy Gate.
No, because then in 30 years when it finally connects, I'm like, I told you guys.
Pay up.
I'll be in the grave. You'll be like, I told you, pay up.
We should definitely take. All right, before we get that, then what do you think next episode? What do you think it goes? Do you think it goes back to Mando, or do you think it goes back to a random story about?
No, I think randoms are done. I think.
And
maybe not so random. Maybe not so random. I think they'll connect at some point that story to the rest of it, but not the way Andrew's saying.
I think we're gonna see her again before the season's done.
I think so too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I also think
they're gonna be bigger in the belly, and then you guys will.
I think the important piece that we're missing.
This guy.
The important piece the important thing for me was that this person, who served Moff Gideon,
was like a right hand, not even.
She just was a communications officer.
Read her title. Read her title again.
Who clearly is devoted to the Empire still to this day.
Still, yes.
Okay, yes. So let me make my point. You bum, freaking big-headed forehead shining on my barely see anything. Anyways, I just think she's gonna be the protagonist that says you got Moff Gideon killed. Therefore, I want my vengeance. Yeah. And maybe I think it'd be even good enough and cool enough to just not have an antagonist, to just see this Mandalorian way and culture grow in the season, and like maybe have like some of these off things like that pterodactyl thing or whatever. Or I think it'd be better to see it'd be better to see Bo-Katan be evil than this. But we're gonna see this person again, I think.
You're preaching to the choir.
No, I'm not. Look, I can see on your smug face
already.
I can see on your smug face. You're basically Andrew Kennedy at this point.
I'm not. I don't advocate for her.
Kathleen Shelley.
No. Okay. So, is there anything else that we want to go in, or have I melted you guys' brains?
No, my brain is not melted. I didn't believe one bit of any of that tinfoil.
I hope it's wrong. I hope it's wrong.
I hope it is too.
Steven could convince me that Jack Skellington was the right choice before he can convince me that that's the right thing that's going to happen in this story.
Hey, I'll take that. That's the way to leave.
I sincerely hope that that's not where it's going. I just have a feeling that she's got her Kennedy claws dug in, and they're trying to make the sequels age well, and it's a reach, and you're banking on your biggest, most profitable, popular show to fix it, and that's the wrong thing to do.
Correct.
Crazy.
All right.
I'm gonna say let's wait till Wednesday.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's pretty much everything we have talking about. So we can turn the time over to the game master, the one and only Matt.
Yes.
You owed me a couple of trivia questions, and then we'll do your game.
I didn't do my research on that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Didn't do it.
Oh,
a man of talk, no action.
I honestly have been so busy not worrying about you that I forgot about the whole situation. So
wait, before you go, I'm really irritated that that's now in my brain that Ray is in that stomach.
Ray's not in this. I promise.
It's not Ray.
It cannot be a generation before Ray.
I don't know why
it's not possible. It's not possible.
It's so bad.
It's not possible.
It's bad, huh? It's bad. And I love that episode.
Terrible take.
Good, but it's like, why are they doing this?
Matt, you know how sometimes my takes are like in left field, and I'm trying to sell it to you, and you're just like, dude, it's not happening.
Yeah,
that was a terrible take.
Sometimes just believe face value. Marvel has got us so encapsulated with like this so deeper meaning, even like in their own movies, right? Listen, like even like Shang-Chi, for example. Oh, he's gonna be beacons of Cain we're gonna see in Ant-Man and the Wasp, or we're just gonna take it at face value that we don't know what these things are. Like, how about that?
Yeah.
Like, let's stop overthinking these things. Leave it at face value, and when things happen, they'll happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am your lovely, gracious, humble game master, because Andrew's game last week was not worthy of first place. Second place for sure. However, after this week's game, it'll be firmly in third place. So, gentlemen, this week, me loving my movie games. It's another movie game just because they're the easiest ones to do usually on a podcast. So this one's called. Before we get to what's it's called, I was really upset when we were gonna make this like a Star Wars episode, because it mostly was for like an hour talking about Star Wars, that it wasn't the 24th. I was gonna call it May the 24th be with you, but that didn't work itself out. Anyways, back to the game. This is called Opposite Day, movie edition. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a movie title, opposites in completion. I'm talking every word is an opposite. Okay. You're going to give me the correct movie title. I'll give you an example to start.
Okay.
If I say men listening, the movie is?
Women speaking.
Close.
Women talk.
Close.
Women talking.
Yell.
Women talking.
Yes. Is that a real movie? Because I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's a terrible movie.
We can go one by one. I mean, I have 10. And have a tiebreaker as well, or we can just do like.
So how do we get?
You want to say
is there like clues?
There's no clue.
Charades.
It's figured out.
There's no clue.
Okay,
there is.
How about we do this?
There are only so many opposites of a word that you can think of.
how about we do this? I don't want to take over your game because it sounds like a fun game. I like where this is going.
Yeah, so then don't. How about that?
Every other, but
It's
after a
raising-
guess, the next person gets to steal.
Okay, so ping pong it.
Ping pong.
Yeah, we're ping pong it. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. I need hands up, please. Because it's easy to type, synonyms. And chat, if you're listening, aka Ren Shelley, I know who you are. Okay.
All the answers.
Keep the fingers off the keyboard, if not in support of something, not the actual answer. Okay, first one. We're gonna start with Andrew, since you're the game peasant last week. This first one might be easy. Okay. You human.
iRobot.
iRobot is correct. Andrew gets.
Oh,
1
that was
point.
good. That was good.
All right.
I was like, I Monster, Monster you Monster
All right.
University.
I'm gonna try and give you one in the same realm or not. This one is Bad Gals.
Good guys.
Close. Andrew
Good men.
and Steven.
Good fellas.
Goodfellas, it
That's what it was. I
is.
couldn't remember what it was. Dang it.
Steven.
Let's go. I thought I was gonna
Alright.
go scoreless. We in this, boys.
Andrew,
Uh-huh.
the dinner separation.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club is correct. Andrew
Wow, dude,
has
that's
a
really
point on the
good.
board.
There you go. That was
Steven.
good.
Ugly and the Gentleman.
Ugly and the Gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty Woman.
Nope.
Okay. Ugly.
Ugly and the Gentleman.
Ugly and the Gentleman. Pretty Woman was a good guess.
I thought it would be pretty.
That was a good guess.
Yeah, it was.
Oh crap! I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry.
Oh, goodness. Man couldn't.
Non-masculine sneeze. Come on, dog. Say it your chest.
Can't get that in control. Okay. So say it again. Ugly Gentleman.
Ugly and the Gentleman.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is correct. That is Andrew's point.
What the hell?
You want me to go? Yeah.
Damn,
You want me to go? You want me to go based upon who got the point, or based on who's next?
Based on who's
Just
next.
Okay,
Yeah,
Andrew,
go.
you're next then.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, a little bit of a tough one. Okay. You are ordinary.
Wow, this is a hard one.
This is not an easy one if you don't see it.
Are ordinary.
Yeah, but as soon as you hear what it is, you're gonna be like, that makes sense.
Dude, I don't.
I can see Andrew get the first two words. I know he has the first two words, but he can't figure out the third. So he doesn't want to say the wrong third
I
word.
know.
Let's go, Andrew. See what's on your mind, man. Just let it go.
Okay,
Let it rip.
so say it again.
You are ordinary.
You are ordinary.
I don't know why I am special is coming to my mind, but that's not it.
I am
Incorrect.
special.
Incorrect.
I am
You're on
legend.
clock. I am legend is correct.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
I
thought you were
had
gonna get
that
that
pop
one.
I had that pop in my mind. I'm like, ordinary.
Sorry, I'm just keep trying to score here. Steven, you're up. Okay, this should be fairly easy. Okay.
See, let's check it.
Private Russia.
Private Russia.
Private Russia.
Captain America.
Captain America is correct.
I was like, what the?
All right, and
That
you
put
are
him
up.
in the lead, didn't it?
That was a
No, you
softball.
guys are tied. You guys are tied.
Okay, we're dead.
Andrew, another easy one in my opinion. The Small Tall.
Big Short.
The Big Short is correct.
That's good.
All right, now we get into a little bit of the more difficult ones, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
All right, let's do this, boys.
Steven,
let's
you
see what
are
you
up.
All right. Help a brother out, chat. Help a brother out.
Okay. Big Mr. Rain. This actually might be not an easy.
Big
or not.
Mr.
Mr. Rain.
Rain. Big. Like rain as like raindrops, drip drop.
Got it.
Got it. Small. Wait. Big Mr. Rain. Tiny. Small Miss Desert. Is that a movie?
That's your guess?
That's my guess.
That is not correct.
Andrew, what you got?
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine is correct. All right, these two are longer ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Andrew, you have 5. Steven, you have 3. You can catch up here with these two. Okay, just for the record. If Andrew gets even 1, he wins. But we'll keep going to the end.
No, I'm gonna do whoever wins the last one wins, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
No, wait,
The
I've
night-
done this one. This
The night Mars moved a lot.
the day that Earth stood still.
Baylor stood still is correct.
I got that one too. That was good. That was a good one.
All right, Steven, you're up. This
All right,
one is on face value a little weird to say, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, hey, somebody clip this.
Yeah, no, please don't. Please don't. Some unclaimed land for little boys.
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men is correct. Now,
Say
we
that
can
one
do
more
a-
time. I want.
No. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a 4 to 5. 4 to 6. 4 to 6. It's close. It's close. It's close.
You got one more, or is that it?
That's it. I mean, I can do one more.
Yeah, do one more.
Take one more
First
out.
person
real
to buzz
quick.
it in.
First person
Andrew
to buzz
won.
it in.
Yeah, but first person to buzz it in.
Okay.
Go for
Okay.
This is a good one. I like
I gotta
this.
think of one. I gotta think of one. Living person, ocean.
Living person. Living person, ocean. Living.
Living person, ocean.
This one's a hard one. This one's a hard one. And it's kind of a trick one. It's not really a trick because it is the direct opposite, but the flow of words is what's going to throw you guys off, I think.
Living person, ocean. What's the opposite of a person?
Dude, I'm stuck on the person part.
What's the opposite of ocean? Both you guys don't want to answer? You don't want to give me
I don't want to give him anything.
Well, hey, are we both on dead for the first word?
Yeah.
Dead. Okay, I don't get dead. What the hell's the opposite of a person?
The flow of words is throwing you guys off, I think, but
Dead.
I'm not giving you any more hints other than that.
Dead.
Say it again.
It is living person, ocean.
Living person, ocean.
I'm just gonna say,
Say it, Andrew. Let it come off your tongue.
I don't
Yeah,
have it yet though.
The flow of words.
Hold on.
Flow of words.
I felt like I was
Dead.
close for a second.
Dead soul. Soul be the opposite of a person? No, because it's not a movie. It's dead soul. What's the opposite of an ocean?
I was thinking dead people land, but that's not anything. Zombie land.
Zombieland is correct.
Yes.
That's Zombieland?
Yep. Zombieland is correct.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's why I said the flow word is gonna throw you off. I got 2 more if you want.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a couple more. I like this.
Oh, you want to do a couple more?
do
All right,
2 more?
Brain feels like
Alright.
it's gonna explode after that one, but
All right.
Yeah.
No money adult.
No money adult.
Yes.
Bro.
You said yes?
Yes,
Yes.
bro, kid.
The no money adult.
No money adult. Like I have to like repeat it over and over again.
Yeah.
No
Again,
money
I'm gonna give you hard ones now because it's different flow of words.
No
The other ones,
money adult.
the other ones I had it to where like it was like almost a 1-to-1 pretty much. This one's not
Yeah.
gonna be a 1-to-1. It's gonna be like thinking,
No
having to think about it a little
money
bit.
No
adult.
money adult. Why do I know the ones you guys are struggling with? Look at that. Damn, I don't get this one.
No way
money
Loren
adult.
knows this one.
No way. Don't
What?
post it.
Yeah, don't post it. Don't post it.
Don't
But
post it yet. Let's see. No,
there's no way.
Text
money
me. Just kidding.
at 9-2. No money adult. I sure
No
as hell
money
do. Let's see. No money. Is it a comedy? Can I
So
get a hint?
stupid.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's not.
Steven, you gotta help me. All that's
Dude,
going
I don't
on
got
in
nothing.
is just
Okay, so
Brokeback
no-
Mountain, and that's not right.
What are you doing?
I can give you,
Um,
I can give you guys
ooh,
a
lifeline?
decade.
Give us a decade.
Yeah, give us a decade.
2000s.
That didn't help as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, I was going to ask for an actor. You shouldn't have got a decade. Let's see.
I can give you an actor too if you want.
Yeah,
Give
give
us
me
an
an actor. No, Samuel Jackson.
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie.
8 Mile?
No, that's not the opposite of.
No. Say what was the opposite
What was the
again?
thing? No money kid or
No money adult.
no money.
I can give you somewhere else in the movie, but
Anthony Mackie's in it though.
Anthony Mackie is in it. Yes.
I'm dying. Dude, I don't know this. All right, give me another person in the movie.
I don't want to give you like a main character, but I will. Hillary Swank.
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million Baby. It is.
Anthony Mackie's in $1 Million Baby.
He is the boxer.
Oh yeah. That was good. That was a good one. For some reason, I want to say blank check. I kept saying,
Check.
thinking in my head.
Well, the thing you said yes, broke kid, and I was like, no money means broke. That's not the opposite of no money.
Crying.
All right, I have 2 more, but I'll give you 1 more just so we can wrap it
All right, last one. We're wrapping
up. This one's gonna throw you off to think, but just think about it, okay? The Light Surf. This one which would have been cheating if I were parted in there because you
The
guys would
Light
never would have done.
Surf?
Light Surf.
Light surf.
Sorry, just inhaled water.
He's 6. Let's see. Surf. First word's gonna be dark.
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact?
I don't know. I was thinking like a big wave.
What the? Dark surf. What the hell's up?
You're giving Andrew too much information.
it
Okay,
again?
keep it down, Steven.
It was
The Light Surf.
The Light Surf. Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight is correct
How is night in surf?
because surf is not surf like surfing a wave. Surf is like a laborer that works for the Lord of the estate.
How are we supposed to know that? Like
That's the point. That's why I didn't put it in there for points.
Oh.
Should have.
That would have been a difficult one.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
would have been a hard one.
That's
pretty
ladies
good.
and gentlemen.
That was a
That
good-
is now-
that was
that is now the second
That was a
second
good
best
game.
game in our history of our podcast.
I wouldn't say second. That's probably third.
No, damn.
Third.
That was pretty good.
Definitely second.
That was fun though. That
Just
could be
yeah,
one
that
that
was
I
good.
could see myself playing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That I thought I was gonna do worse. I did pretty bad, but I'm pretty.
Honestly,
happy
like
Played
the
it
with
amount
my
of
pretty good.
anxiety that kicked up when he started saying it, like
Yeah.
The Bad Gals one, that should have been a layup for
which one?
Bad
Bad
Gals.
Gals.
Bad Gals. Yeah.
Took 3 guesses to get that one.
All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end of our podcast. Is there anything that you fine gentlemen want to finish off the night with? Anything?
No, no. I'm caught. Before, has any of you guys watched The Last of Us?
Yes.
Nope.
No. So
And,
I haven't started it. I'm going to try to start it this weekend. I'm just going to burn through watching it. I saw that it got picked up for season 2,
Mhm.
so everybody's really enjoying this movie or show. That everybody's now stoked for God of War because they're like, one video game adaptation did amazing. People are wanting it. Now, before God of War has even come out or even like posted a trailer or anything, they're already in talks with making a Ninja Turtle, The Last Ronin TV show, like talking about it. As a huge turtle fan, snaps, you guys are talking about the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how I feel about all of a sudden all these video game and all these like kind of comic adaptations coming out of the blue for a money grab. Real quick before we get out, but how do you guys feel? Do you feel like that's a good move, or do you think it's like it should be on? Like, you think they should just start putting more and more and more out, or do you think it should be like certain stories? You know what I mean? Because like Drake's Uncharted, the story's really good, but I felt like that movie sucked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it sucked, but I don't think it didn't have what the game has. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about for sure. I think it's inevitable because one, I think we get a lot of really good storytelling in the form of video games.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of good source content there. And I think it's something that most fans would be appreciative of. However, I think it's also you have to do it right if you're going to do it. A lot of the reason that storytelling in video games works is because the player is in control and you get to make the decisions and see it playing versus the story
or
being
it's
told.
maybe 80
to you.
hours of content.
Mhm.
Maybe it has anything to do with it.
That too, but the way it unfolds is different than like a show where you get to discover things or you get to open this and find this versus, and that's fulfilling versus with a TV show or even a movie, it's got to be almost spoon fed. So one of the things that I would say is if people are serious about doing it, assume that the audience is smart enough to follow without having to hold their hand.
So the fact that you're saying that is one of the articles that brought up Mandalorian. I know we're kind of going full circle back to Mando.
Let's
A
do
lot
it.
of the I know we're trying to get out of here in the next like 5 minutes, but a lot of the fans and a lot of non-Star Wars like heads are kind of saying, where the heck is this season going? Like a lot of people are that I'm reading in the comments and articles are not really happy with Mandalorian, saying it's going too many different directions and they need to make sense of it. Do you guys feel, without putting on your tinfoil hat, do you guys feel, I guess, Matt, do you feel that it's not connecting dots in being a full season, or do you think that Mandalorian season 3 has been cool, but they haven't really told the story yet?
Well, 1 + 0 is not equal 2, right? That's my stance on this thing. So what I mean by that, even like back to like the core of your question, I think the problem with these things coming out is not the product itself. I thought Uncharted was good as a video game adaptation, and I think what happens is there are things people dislike about these things and latch onto it so much that they forget everything else around it, and they're super impatient with the process of things. I'll give you an example of Uncharted specifically.
Sure.
Once Tom Holland was casted as Nathan, and once Mikey Mark was Sully, the immediate reaction had nothing to do with the plot of anything. It had to do with their age. They're both too young. When Sony's response was, we want them to be able to go 10, 15 years with this, that wasn't a good enough response for people that were so honed in on that feature. If them two are Andrew's age and above, then that movie is one of the best video game films of all time because people will receive it differently. I receive it the way as it's intended, which is this is a movie establishing these two guys who are going to take on this story, which the story of Uncharted is not some big, crazy, elaborate thing that needs to be like stuck to. The point of it is they go treasure hunting and they find treasure and they have foes in the way. That's it. And that was a good movie for that. So then leading back to The Mandalorian is the impatience of people. Like these people, like the directors and the writers,
the normies,
the producers, everybody, they have a direction of things.
Oh, my bad, wrong.
And we need to just be patient with that direction. And people just are so honed in on like what they want to see versus what they get that they get mad they didn't see what they wanted to see versus thinking it's a bad show or a good show. Another example is Kenobi. People didn't see Anakin the way they wanted to see him, therefore they hated that show. That show wasn't that bad at all, actually. It's pretty good.
Anakin I thought was one of the highlights.
Yeah. Example of a bad show is like Book of Boba Fett, where like they did things that were mostly the whole basis of that show was fan service, and it was terrible.
Terrible.
There's
3 episodes that were good and it had everything to do with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You know
So I don't think the problem is like that these things the adaptations are coming to life. Like if the last run comes out for the Turtles, are they gonna miss a lot of detail that was in a 15-run comic? Yeah, probably. Yeah. The same reason why they're losing out on details that were in an 80-hour storyline gameplay you did in God of War or in Assassin's Creed. That doesn't mean it's bad for what it is. Like some of these things, they don't have the luxury of having a 30-episode, 6-season plotline to drive them forever. And we're in an age where original storytelling is kind of gone. There's no like original stuff coming out on the big screen. So if the alternative to that is taking original written things like comic books or video game stories that are originally written for these things as intended and are not adapted already, I'm all for it. It's a breath of fresh air for a new screenplay we've never seen before. So I just think people are impatient. That's my thing. They're impatient of what they want to see, but it doesn't mean the product's bad. Everything people complain about is just because they didn't see it the way they wanted to. Like even the Eternals, for my like another example is like 100%. A damn good movie, but
especially Eternals. It got me very. There's 2 times I've backtracked my statement. Tom Hardy as Bane, I was like, I'm not watching it. Bane, he looks stupid. I'm not watching it. It's dumb. And then I watched it, and it was like one of my favorite movies. The next one was Eternals. I heard so much like Eternals sucks. There's nothing in it. And then I watched it, and I was like, what? Like, this movie is amazing. Pulling it back, do you think out of all the people who watch these Star Wars movies, right? We can use my sister-in-law as an example. She loves Star Wars. She loves it, but doesn't know it. Are these new Mandalorian, Ahsoka, are they aiming towards the 20% fan base that's like watching breakdowns, talking about it on a podcast, or are they making it for the average person who's just going to turn on, watch it on Wednesday and turn it off?
So I think,
you know what I mean?
To Matt's point, especially when it comes to Star Wars, we kind of beaten the dead horse with Skywalker. Like,
oh yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like everything that has been addressed has been addressed. It's time to move on so that you have the people that are breaking every little thing down. They can still do their breakdown on this new content. Sure, it's not going to be in as depth 100%. As some of the other stuff, but it also gives a new generation a different demographic of fans to come in and rally behind it. So I think, again, it has to be done carefully, and it has to be done with the idea that the audience is smart enough to figure it out. You don't have to spoon feed every little detail, explain what this rock at the top of a city has to do with anything, and then show it off in the next episode for absolutely no reason, just so that people can say, hey, there's that special rock. Just let us figure that out by itself.
Yeah. I think that the issue for me becomes the question you asked, Steven. The issue for me comes when they pick one. You don't have to pick one. You don't have to cater to new fans or old fans. You can do both simultaneously. So, like, another example of like how someone could do this is like if you look at the Wizarding World, right? If you gave us a Marauders TV show, you can bring new fans in through that and cater to them while simultaneously having callbacks to old fans that know the story. Or if you I don't know, you pick anything really. Like there's always a room for both to happen. There doesn't have to be either one. So I think the problem with like the Force Awakens trilogy and the Skywalker saga stuff, like the second sequel, whatever it's called. I think the problem with that is that they did they picked one. They picked a new fan service. They didn't pick established old lore. Therefore, it conflicted with each other, and you have 50% of people, or I would say 70% of people that watch that movie don't think anything negative about it. But the 30% are such diehard fans, they're the loudest about it.
Yeah,
and
I agree
if
with
Kathleen Kennedy would have said, we can take some elements from the old that are not just fan service, like having Luke do nothing. You could bring Luke in, for example, and have Luke stay true to his character, and also have this overarching thing for Rey happen at the same time without butchering Luke's character in the process.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I think failing franchises have. They're trying to cater to one or the other and not both. Marvel's been able to do such a good job in the beginning establishing both. If you don't know who Captain America is, here's his origin story. If you do know who he is, here's what we're leading to in the comic book era of things in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And it hooked people in. And that's the recipe that people don't understand yet, which is driving me crazy because it's such a basic thing.
Simple.
Exactly what Andrew just said. Assume the audience knows, and if they don't, they'll figure it out on themselves. And that's how you do it hand in hand. If they don't know it, they'll figure it out. If they do know it, they're gonna love it.
Not only that, but if they don't know it and they care about it enough, they're gonna find the people that know about it and watch that content to learn about it.
Yes.
And that's one of my biggest pet peeves in watching movies is when a director or a film writer thinks the audience is dumb and has to give you that information.
Yeah, it is kind of
like when you think about, and again, Rian Johnson, pretty controversial, but like The Glass Onion and Knives Out, so good because you're on a ride in this movie. You have no idea what's going on. There's so much misdirection that it's like, oh, I think I know how it's going to go. What? It didn't. That kind of stuff, I feel like the Hollywood or the cinema side of things has kind of gone away from, and now it's, let me cater to you not knowing. Let me explain every little detail. It's like, don't do that. Just assume we know. And they're going to figure it out. They're going to do the research because they liked it enough to want to go figure it out. And then it's going to be that much more when they rewatch it.
Yeah, and then about a year later, when we're watching it again, they're like, "Oh, that's what they meant." And then, I totally agree. And I just was reading this article and reading the comments, and people were just bashing it. Like, I was like, "Please, Star Wars, do not cater to just tell." I
do think though that right now they're not. The episodes are very standalone-ish.
Definitely.
I think they could do something that connects them all together. I think they will 100%. Here pretty soon, but I just think people need to like take a deep breath. There's usually 8 episodes. We're only halfway through. If this is the foundational work, I'm okay with that. If that means the next 4 episodes are going to be actual in-depth work, like we didn't even like think about it. Moff Gideon, we didn't get into him until the second to last episode of the first season, and it led to that the whole time. So
see, I think a lot of people are upset with the last, like you can name like the last 3 big shows, and they've had ultimate terrible endings, and I think that's what people are scared of. The fact they invested how many years into Game of Thrones, and then to have the worst possible ending of all time. You know what I mean? It was just like people don't want to invest themselves, I would think, into a show and then be like,
it's true.
You know what I mean? So I do see their point on that. But at the same time, if you're telling me a story, I want you to tell it to me, not halfway through the story go, looking at the crowd going, oh, they're not liking this. Let me change the story. And then it just doesn't make sense. Like, I want to hear what you have to say.
Which is Favreau's point. That's why Favreau is so adamant about, like, this is my vision of what I want to do.
100%.
If I have control of anything, it's going to be just of this one story.
Yeah, that's why I think Book of Boba Fett failed, because they had too many hands in the cookie jar. I think if one person told me the story, I think it would have been not maybe the best story in the world, but it would have been like not Power Rangers, Mandalorian, Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Like,
nah, Boba Fett failed for a couple reasons. Boba Fett failed first and foremost because they thought he was an untouchable character because of the fan base. They thought they could do no wrong
whatever
with
they
it.
wanted to.
Yeah.
The second thing is you introduced a character like Din, who is just, even when you see him, like, this was something I leaned over to my wife in the last episode, because they're showing all these, like, and this is kind of what I said. I said they're like dollar store versions of Boba Fett that you have in this covert, and then you see Mando and you're like, damn, he is so cool looking. Like, he's just like infinitely cooler than everybody on screen. Like,
do you think it's kind of weird that they did that? Like, nobody else is doing anything totally for themselves?
He's the poster boy. Like,
I'm telling you, if they want, if they know it's good for them, they lock Pedro Pascal in for a deal for 10 years. The fact that he's he's on HBO Max right now, right? Last of Us. The fact that he's even that close to touching Warner Media as opposed to all Disney Media, they need to just lock him in now before they get a hold of him at Warner.
Yeah.
I know I'm not hosting it, but I say this is what we ended on. Everybody say what they think right here. Right here. Do you think he takes his helmet off this season?
No.
You don't think he does?
No.
I'm going to go off on the limb and I'm going to put that hat on and I'm going to say, I think he does. I think he does. I think in the last episode he realizes, I think the roles switch where he realizes it isn't what he thought it was. And then he takes his helmet off and that's where I'm going with it.
Yeah, if that's the case, he wasted the first 4 episodes. The first
I could
two
definitely
at
see
least.
it going.
You have to think about the reason why his helmet came off in season 2. It only comes off in a couple times. They're dire moments, or it's, hey, this is my last opportunity to see this person that I have a connection with, and it means a lot. For him to take it off, it almost feels like it would water those moments down.
To the point we just made, you're slapping the fans that have been with you since the beginning in the face again.
I sure, but if he doesn't take his helmet off,
I would say we're more likely to see the armorer take her helmet off before we see Din take his helmet off again.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So
in public, to your point, Steven, I could see us seeing Din by himself somewhere take his helmet off.
That doesn't count. That I'm talking about in public, like he's making a declaration, like he's.
But hold on. Let's hold on. Stevens might have a point here. Both seasons he's taking his helmet off.
He didn't take it off in the first one. The only reason he took it off is because he had to in front of a droid, which didn't count.
It's still got taken off.
Yeah, it still got taken off. She doesn't tell him and this time you're allowed to take it off. You know what I mean?
But nobody was around.
They can take it off in private. And Andrew's right, like the droid thing. But the point is this helmet was off for the first time ever. To Steven's point, he's taking it off every season so far.
And I think he takes it off at the end. Maybe not at the last episode, but I think he takes it off.
I could see Bo-Katan winning the hearts of the covert. Mm-hmm. Her saying, "This is the way," takes it off. Everybody else takes it off after her. Din not taking it off, saying, "No, I'm not conforming to that."
No, not
see,
even.
I think a complete opposite, where they half of the children of the Watch or whatever they are start following her, and then he goes the other way, and he doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want that, and they pretty much to get out of being their leader, he just takes his helmet off. You know what I mean? And it kind of, I don't want to say canceling. Eliminates himself. I think because I don't think Mando is going to be a leader. I think they push him to be to like the last possible second, and then he's like, it's not what I want. You know what I mean? I don't want this. and that's how I think. But I do think he's going to take his helmet off.
I think in the first episode they foreshadowed him staying home somewhere and not being a traveler anymore.
Yeah, and
And
just
to
being
me,
the caretaker for Grogu.
No. Not what I meant by that. To me, that doesn't mean that he doesn't do anything where he's at. Just means that he settles in with people that are alike and amongst him that he can protect instead of going town to town. To me, it foreshadowed the same thing of like him staying and watching over the people of Mandalore as their guardian, protector, whatever they want to call it. They call it if the word leader or king is what they're going to call it, whatever.
Mandalore the Great.
Point being, he is the Mandalore that finally settles in somewhere where he belongs and is the guy where they go to for protection.
I think that's what makes it work is you're giving the guy who doesn't want the power all the power, and therefore it's not corrupt. He doesn't want it. He's not seeking it. He's literally the opposite of Bo, where she wants it. She wants to be that person, but she can't. He doesn't want it.
That's the Jedi way, man.
He doesn't want it.
Mandalore the Great was a Jedi. He wasn't just Mandalorian. So if the saber and the Force wills it to do so, and that's what the criteria is, then fits it almost to a T.
I'm gonna be upset though if they give him like Force abilities at the last. You know what I mean?
I don't think that'll happen,
dude. I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be like, really?
They don't need to either because the Mandalorian, like everything about them as a culture, is to be able to stand up to a Jedi.
That's the point of them.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have him touch a funky looking colored rock and give him Force powers. And if they do,
I think Grogu's there for that reason.
That's what I think so too.
Grogu fits the other half of that. If there needs to be a Force wielder, they have Grogu there at their disposal.
I'm telling you, 500 years in the future, give us Grogu.
No.
There only needs to be one baby in the show, and that is Grogu. We don't need clone babies running around.
I'm saying like
punching people.
That
I'm
would be
making fun of your tinfoil hat thing.
No, the future of Star Wars is complete different story, complete different time. You have like perfect poster child to rep that. Cute little baby Grogu, and now he's an adult and he's super powerful. Awesome. And he's a Mandalorian Jedi.
It'd be even better. Okay, hear me out. It'd be even better.
All right, we got to wrap it up after this.
If we turn to the dark side.
Oh, that'd be tight. He just stabs Mando in the face just like 7 times.
Not what I said. But fair enough.
All right. Well, that is our show for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. I apologize for taking us through tinfoil conspiracy theory, but I'm telling you, I am right. I cannot wait to look you guys square in the optical sockets and tell you I told you so.
If you were right, and at the end of this season, we will take shots at the end of the season on camera.
First off, don't speak for me. Second off, I've already poked 4 different holes in your theory.
It doesn't matter.
It's Star Wars, brother.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That is our show. Have a great night.
Yep. Laters.